We need market structure. We need clarity.
Okay, so if there's any crypto sitting in your wallet, this one's for you. The guy running the U.S. Treasury right now, Scott Bessent, went ahead and wrote a piece for the Wall Street Journal. And his whole message to Congress: get the Clarity Act done. Stop dragging your feet. His exact words: time is scarce and now is the time to act.
And we need to get this across the line this spring.
The person who runs the SEC, on board. The person who runs the CFTC, on board. Members of Congress, yep, them too. And what Bessent is doing here is turning the Clarity Act into a national security conversation. Step back and think about when something like this has ever happened in crypto. It hasn't. You've got every single top regulator in this country, plus the people writing the laws, all saying the same thing at the same time. Pass this bill, we're out of runway. That kind of pressure from every angle is absolutely going to shape where Bitcoin heads next. All right, switching gears completely. Odds are you've already seen this floating around. CZ, the man behind Binance, has gotten into a full-blown public battle with the person who founded competing exchange OKX. The whole thing revolves around CZ's former wife. I'll get you up to speed on that. But going back to Bessent, here's what he's saying. Congress has spent the better part of half a decade trying to pass a framework to onshore the future of finance. It's time for the Banking Committee to hold a markup and send the Clarity Act to President Trump's desk. Senate time is precious, and now is the time to act. So what Bessent is getting at, and these are his own words, the regulatory framework for digital asset markets is unclear, Bessent said in an op-ed published in the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday, adding that this uncertainty had predictable consequences. A growing share of crypto development relocated to places with clear rules, such as Abu Dhabi and Singapore abroad. Firms knew when and how to register, what standards to meet, and how to operate. The benefits of domiciling in the United States rarely outweigh the risks. Here's the thing. Bessent has talked about crypto regulation before. That's nothing new. What's different this time is the framing. He's putting this squarely in the national security bucket. The way he sees it, if America fumbles this, the talent and the money flow to Singapore, to Dubai, to wherever the doors are open. That's what keeps him up at night. When financial innovation leaves your borders, your security weakens with it. That's the argument. And just to ground you on where the Clarity Act actually sits right now, the bill is real. It's been written. It cleared the House sometime around the middle of last year, so we're talking months and months ago already. The holdup? It's stuck waiting on the Senate side. Has to clear committee first, then survive a full Senate vote. After that, it goes straight to the president's desk.
So the latest is it's passed out of the Senate Ag Committee, the portion dealing with CFTC. We are actively working to get it back on the books for a markup in the Senate Banking Committee. The main issue that's been the sticking point is the stablecoin rewards and yield coming back up in the context of the digital asset service providers, the intermediaries, potentially being able to offer rewards and yield on stablecoins to their customers. We at the White House have convened a number of meetings over the past month to try and solve this issue and broker a compromise here. Crypto, to their credit, has made considerable strides in coming to a compromise position. It's time for the banks to reciprocate and ultimately strike a deal on this, because this is the issue that we believe is the domino that will fall, and ultimately everything will fall into place after that.
And that clears the path for crypto to actually do well here in the States. Now, the big question on everybody's mind, where is Bitcoin headed? Look, the Clarity Act still has to work its way through the process, and we're talking weeks before anything gets finalized there. I'll be watching it closely and bringing you every update as it comes. On the price side, Bitcoin is caught inside another bear flag, the second one. The thing about this pattern is BTC could run up to $79,000, $80,000, even $81,000, and that bear flag still wouldn't break. We saw the same kind of setup with the first one. For anyone out there actively trading Bitcoin right now, the odds are still leaning one direction based on this formation. Can something unexpected happen? Always. But playing the percentages here, if you're someone who respects the bear flag as a pattern, a drop back down to retest those lower levels is the more likely move. All right, switching gears. I keep seeing CZ's name pop up everywhere. What's going on with that? So CZ is wrapped up in this very public back and forth right now. Part of it is about a book he just put out, and part of it involves some serious personal claims about him and Yeehee, his ex-wife. For those who don't know, Yeehee and CZ built Binance together while they were still married. They've since gone their separate ways. The person calling him out? That would be Star, the guy behind OKX. And here's the piece a lot of newer crypto folks completely miss. All three of these people, CZ, Yeehee, still married at that point but now divorced, and Star, they were all colleagues at one point. Same company, same team. Then CZ and Yeehee broke off and launched Binance. Star took a different route, built OKX from the ground up, and honestly did phenomenally well with it. Everyone came out on top in their own way. Just to repeat, Star is the person who founded OKX. But underneath all the success, there's clearly been tension simmering for years between them. The only reason I'm even bringing this up is because they're putting it all out there for the world to see. So let's just go through it and figure out what's actually happening. Star dropped this post roughly 13 hours ago. I have no interest in revisiting these old disputes with CZ, but his book, filled with falsehoods, has dragged me into this for no reason. He has a long-standing habit of making misleading statements to the public, the media, and the world. Unfortunately, his tendency to distort the truth does not seem to change. According to reporting by CoinDesk, his wife submitted a letter of support to the judge. In the report, she consistently referred to them as husband and wife without using terms like ex-wife or ex-husband. I have great respect for her loyalty and resilience. However, in his own book and media interviews, he has been deliberately vague about his marital status. At times, saying they are separated, at times, suggesting they are divorced. So what is the actual situation? Did the divorce happen after his release? If they are indeed divorced, was his stake in Binance properly divided in accordance with the law? This is not only a legal matter, but also a question of basic moral responsibility and integrity as a husband. Figures like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates both followed legal processes to divide assets with their spouses during their divorces. What Star really wants answered is simple. Did CZ and Yeehee actually go through a divorce? And the follow-up to that is, who ended up with the Binance ownership? Because here's the thing, I've sat across from CZ on stage. We've had him on this channel plenty of times. And when he walked away from his role at Binance, he kept every share. Not a single one changed hands. So Star's point is, if this divorce really happened, where did those shares land? One thing to keep in mind, a good amount of this exchange was written in Chinese first and then translated, so some of the phrasing might not be one-to-one. And it appears that at some point during all of this, CZ or somebody on his behalf jumped in with a reply. Star didn't stop there, though. He continued with, if the richest man can produce a divorce agreement up to today that has been signed and confirmed by both parties, I will immediately issue a public apology. If he cannot produce such an agreement, yet claims in the media and books that he is already divorced, that is openly lying to the public. This is just another example of him brazenly lying to the public with a straight face. CZ shot back, and honestly, that's the moment the wider crypto world tuned in. Because now you've got these two trading messages where everyone can see it. CZ's reply was, I typically ignore all these false claims attacks, but you can apologize now. I am officially divorced. I won't post any legal docs online as I respect privacy of my ex-wife, and I appreciate the time we spent together. I am happy to bet $1 billion US, or any number you choose, that I am officially divorced way before today. If you agree to take the bet, we can get lawyers to validate my divorce agreement, which should be dead simple. Basically, bring in the lawyers, let them review everything behind closed doors so nobody's private documents get spread around publicly. And that's how he'll prove the divorce actually happened and collect on the bet. This bet offer is valid permanently, whenever you feel ready, but if you don't take it within 24 hours, it clearly shows who has been misrepresenting to the public. Moving on to better things to do. Here's what Star fired back with. Oh, and by the way, if you're getting value out of these updates, smash that like button for me. Anyway, Star wrote, both OKX and Binance are regulated by multiple regulators. As the UBO of regulated company, publicly offering a $1 billion bet is hardly professional conduct. I would be curious whether Binance's regulators consider that acceptable. As for whether you have misled the public and lied to the world, the test is actually simple. Has your Binance stake been legally separated with your ex-wife or not? Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos have already shown what proper asset separation looks like in a divorce. So CZ replies and he says, as I said, or any number you choose, big or small, time to own it like a man and apologize. Don't try to divert topics with more false attacks. Who is doing the misled the public and lie to the world? Binance stake is none of your business. Anyway, wasting enough of my time already. Back to ignore mode, not worth my time. On top of all this, CZ apparently went on the All In podcast and told the story of how he first got into Bitcoin. Way back in the day, we're talking many years ago, he sold his house or apartment, whatever it was, and put that money straight into buying Bitcoin.
And so I sold the apartment and for roughly $900,000, like just under $1 million. And then started buying, and I got paid in tranches because you get a first down payment, you got paid in tranches, and every tranche I get, I just buy. Well, the first tranche at $800, and then Bitcoin's dropping $600, $400, kind of averaged to about $600.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. So now you have your Bitcoin position, but you still don't have a job.
Yeah, well, I was looking for a job at the same time.
From what I understand, Star and CZ were in each other's circles right around that same period. And Star follows up by saying, CZ constantly talks about the story of selling a house to buy Bitcoin, but what is the full truth behind it? Where did the down payment for that house originally come from, and whose house was actually sold? Are you guys tracking with me on this? I'm curious. Throw something in the comments. Are you glued to this drama, or is it not your thing? And while you're down there, tap that like button. Okay, let's just get through the rest of Star's post. He continues, when using this story to portray himself as visionary and repeatedly showcasing it as an achievement, did he ever consider the feelings of his wife's parents, who supported their daughter and son-in-law back then and are now elderly? Hold on, is he claiming that was his parents-in-law's house? That part's a little unclear to me. Regardless, the one thing nobody can deny is that these three have history stretching back years and years. And look, every single one of them crushed it in crypto on their own terms. Seeing it get ugly and personal is rough, but my guess is all three of them would tell you the same thing. They just want what's accurate to be out in the open. If I could get Star on for a sit down, I'd do it tomorrow. Same with Yeehee. Same with CZ. Any of them. These are people who shape this entire industry. Anything new that comes out of this, you'll hear it from me first. Appreciate you sticking around, and I'll see you next time.